Hey everyone, and welcome to SkillCapped. In this guide, we'll be going over a safe rotation strategy the pro player Sinatraa uses to get more kills and top frag in his games on the map Ascent in defense. Maintaining map control and rotating to assist your team early onto the round can net you lots of frags and wins in solo queue. We've also broken down other videos for Sinatraa's aggressive offense, so come check them out in our channel. Keep in mind, playing proactively on defense requires you to be flexible and adaptive at all times. Sinatraa always adapts to changes in situations and fills in gaps where his teammates cannot. Luckily, we'll be breaking down different variations of the same play to give you guys a better idea of Sinatraa's thought process and how he is such an amazing solo queue player.
And if you're serious about improving, then go to skillcapped.com to unlock our hyper improvement system that will teach you how to win more gunfights, master your agent, and so much more. Backed by our rank improvement guarantee, you have nothing to lose. So come join over 500,000 satisfied members of SkillCapped, improve that KDA, and get the rank you've always wanted at skillcapped.com. Link in the description below.
Let's start with the first clip. Sinatraa actually loves to play as an anchor on B with Sova because of this spot right here that allows him to wallbang safely. So before we get into the clip though, take a look at the path of which you can spray the wall. You can see that we can utilize the ping feature to mark where the entrance of B main is and start shooting around that area. This wall can only be penetrated by 5 guns: the Sheriff, Guardian, Ares, Odin, and Operator. These are all classified as high penetration, which allows for this wall to be shot through. You can imagine how powerful of a spot it is for Sova, considering he is the most effective character in spotting enemies through this wall. Let's get into the first clip. To start it off, we have to take a look at the map positioning of Sinatraa's teammates. Playing with Sinatraa on B side is an ally Raze and Omen. Leaning towards the A side is the Phoenix and Cypher. This is a common setup for the Sentinel, which is Cypher in this game, to hold and anchor a side of the map that has less people in it. It's very easy for him to stall and allow for rotates from the players in mid. Alright, let's resume the clip and see how Sinatraa decides to stay and anchor B or rotate and help his team. Keep in mind, you should always be active in trying to read where the enemy is attacking and try to help your team as soon as possible. You will notice that Sinatraa shoots his recon arrow at the start of almost every round to try and get early information for himself and his team. Since the cooldown is 35 seconds, it is wise to use it at the beginning of the round so when you decide to rotate or when the enemy pushes, you can have an arrow ready for a potential retake situation. Immediately after firing the arrow, Sinatraa looks for any potential victims to shoot through this wall. After seeing nobody, he decides to shoot anyways to see if he can get enemies hiding outside the entrance who are trying to wait out the arrow. A Viper wall comes up, but contact has already been made on the map at around A main. We can see the ally Phoenix has already taken first blood, but quickly gets traded out. Sinatraa makes the decision of heading towards A side regardless of this Viper wall that has come up due to a couple of things that have been deduced through looking at the minimap and his teammates' positionings. If we take a look at the ally Omen, he has already pushed past middle and looking at Cat. He technically has mid control in that position and has the option of flanking A main or watching the push from Cat. Since mid is clear, the only place the rest of the team could be in is A main or tiles in the smoke. It is unlikely to be tiles because Omen would be able to hear them and it would most likely just be a lurk. While all this is happening, we can hear a call from his teammates saying they are going to push A fast. It is safe to say now that it would be pointless to stay at B for Sinatraa.
Might be taking A fast here. 3 at the orb, 3 at the orb.
Throughout this video, you will see that Sinatraa's rotations are always very safe and he rarely pushes through B main and flank to mid side. He almost always rotates through CT and onto A site with an occasional option of defending mid. The reason why he opts to go up heaven instead of tree is because Cypher is already in tree and Omen has Cat covered. There is nobody that is going to be pushing into A from Cat, so there is no point in pathing that direction. It is safer and better to apply pressure from heaven because drone is available and you can wallbang through the heaven walls. Sinatraa shoots a couple of arrows just in case they push onto the site. These are probably approximate lineups, but they seem to hit directly at the entrance of A main. Since Omen is on the flank from A main, there could not be anywhere else the enemies can be, so Sinatraa waits and holds A main patiently. He is rewarded and gets a frag on the enemy Viper. Since there was a call that they are retreating, Sinatraa decides to push up and be the flanker for the ally Omen and Cypher.
Coming back. They fall in.
Sinatraa shoots the recon bolt to confirm if there are any people in A main and pre-fires wine just in case. At this point, they can go two places, either T-spawn or top mid. He decides to check top mid but sees nobody. At this point, since Omen has the entrance of B main and Cypher is watching Cat, the only possible place that the enemy can be is A main, which Sinatraa realizes and goes to cover right away. He finds the enemy Sova lurking and soon after frags Omen as well. As you can see, Sinatraa decides to go to the areas which are not covered through the process of elimination. This is usually the best way of playing efficient and impactful defense. Let's take a look at the next clip. Again, the position of the team is the same as the previous clip at the beginning of the round. Let's see how it plays out though. We start off with the same recon arrow at the beginning of the round at the top of the wall. Just in case Sinatraa spots anybody, he has his Odin on aim down sight ready to gun anybody down through the wall. A nice cheeky mix up is that he shoots the shock dart just in case they come in after the recon bolt. Finally, there is contact that happens at A main and a teammate comms that the enemy is probably coming into A fast.
A lot faster. 3 A main at least.
Again, Sinatraa safely rotates from CT into heaven. He debates about checking tree because Cypher has already killed 3 people and it would make sense for the other 2 to be executing a split from Cat into A site. If you look at the map, nobody is in position to acquire information in that area, so it makes sense for Sinatraa to cover it for his team. Unfortunately though, the ally Cypher gets fragged out in A main, indicating that there are more players. This causes Sinatraa to turn his attention back into A main.
2 A main.
And since the comms reported the last 2 are in A main, there is no point in checking tree or Cat. Sinatraa prepares the drone in case they push in, but there appears to be no sign of advancing for the enemies. The ally Ray's robot confirms that, and Sinatraa decides to rotate back to either mid or A. A safe rotation when there is no information of the enemy is the smartest decision most of the time. He reaches mid and decides to drone into B and clear the exit of B main and bomb site. Through a process of elimination, the enemy must be in mid or back in A main. The ally Raze gets a frag which confirms both of their positions in the minimap. For the remainder of the clip, Sinatraa bets that Viper would path A due to the lack of time left for the offense to plant, but she goes B instead. Sinatraa gets the frag and wins the round. As you can see again though, Sinatraa always rotates where the enemies are and tries to help and assist the team however way he can and as fast as he can through a process of elimination and deduction. In the next clip, we can see the early rotates happen again, but this time he decides to path into tree side instead. Because the enemy Omen teleports early and the comms reveal he went A heaven, it is safe to assume that it is going to be an A commit. Because nobody is covering Cat, and the ally Raze was taken out early and mid, it is safe to also assume that there could be players coming in that area. Since nobody broke the tripwire placed at the entrance of tree, Sinatraa decides to support A main instead. Because there hasn't been a sign of pushing in A, and mid is technically open for Sinatraa's team, there is a very high chance that the enemies are going back mid and possibly rotating to the open B site. If you guys didn't know already, you're able to jump and look over at middle through this fountain looking object at CT spawn. Sinatraa utilizes that to try and get some safe information. He actually stays in the spot for a while. You have to understand that it is the right decision to make because when you have no information of where the enemy is, it is better to play areas where you can find information and allow your team to play off of it safely. An enemy Sova dart is shot and connects with Sinatraa to reveal his position. This gives a reason for Sinatraa to drone and try to find more information on where the enemies are playing. He manages to spot a jet and Sova, which gives safe and reliable information for the ally Cypher and Phoenix to play off of. He continues to jump peek and grab information as safely as possible because his teammate decided not to push or rotate. Since time is running out, the enemies must commit to a site. Since Sinatraa stayed middle and never overcommitted to anything, he is able to rotate onto B quickly after seeing signs of pushing into market. The push was stopped and the round is secured through again a process of elimination and good positioning, reacting to the enemy's rotates and matching them by filling in any gaps Sinatra's teammates had on the map. The last clip we have is an odd scenario that Sinatraa reads and plays masterfully. At the start of the round, Raze is playing with Sinatraa at B site. Since his weapon of choice this round isn't a high penetration one, Sinatraa decides to play a little closer to B main after shooting the recon arrow. The recon detects a Viper on the last tick, and Sinatraa decides to stay and anchor B site. On the other side of the map though, Phoenix gets 2 kills and spots the spike dropped outside A main. In this situation, what would you do to help your team? A. Rotate to A site. B. Stay to anchor B site. Or C. Go mid and try to gain map control. Most people would actually choose A because of the bomb being dropped in that area. It is a good idea to help your teammates defend it since we know the enemy will come and retrieve it eventually. Although the right answer in this situation is actually B. Because all of the map is covered and it is a 5v3 situation, it is wise to stay and watch areas where the enemy can flank from slowly. Never leave any holes of map control when you are up in numbers for defense. Cypher is already going to help Phoenix and mid is being watched by Raze and Omen. There is actually no reason for Sinatraa to rotate. And since he spotted the Viper earlier, there is a chance she can go B main slowly and quietly. Sinatraa grabs a kill on the lurking Omen, but since it wasn't the Viper that he spotted earlier, he decides to stay and wait. Slowly inching up A main, he finally sees the Viper that was spotted at the beginning of the round and frags her out. In defense, it is sometimes smart to hold your position and not allow any holes in the map for the enemy team to flank and push into.
And remember, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com in the link in the description below.
Alright, so let us know in the comment section below which gun you like the most for Sova. I have a feeling it might be the Odin, but let me know just in case. And while you're down there, leave a like and hit that subscribe button with bells on to get more premium guides that help you improve. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next one.